everybody. We're back. It's been a
Bike.
while. We're in quarantine.
Yeah,
How y'all
man. Doing all right. Doing all right. I know we've been catching up a little bit pretty much on stuff and talking about different things and just being in a different world with a bunch of different stuff now. But yeah, this is different, man. But doing okay.
Very different.
Blessed. Like happy to have y'all here. Happy that the fam's good. Like friends
No
are
dry
good.
coughs.
What's up?
No dry coughs. No fevers. Hell no.
Cooling, man. Cooling.
I wish a nigga would cough around me. I'm like, say, look, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Hey, you gotta watch your back wherever you go. Rona rolling up on people, man. Rona ain't playing.
Rona's
Jeez.
playing.
I can tell you right now, when I tell y'all, the F is not only for phenomenal, but nigga, the F is for free from corona, nigga. What's up, man?
I knew you could say that.
What's up,
What's wrong with this
nigga?
guy? What's wrong with this guy?
Phenomenally free from corona, nigga. Like, triple F.
So let's go. We were just offline or off the. We weren't recording yet. But we were talking about obviously the virus, main topic that everyone's been talking about. But
Yeah,
man, why are we listening to Bill Gates? Like for real though, why are we listening to him? He's a computer programmer. He does not have a medical degree. He does not have a background in medicine.
because he's a billionaire.
To know this was
So we're gonna try.
He knows people that knows people.
Here's the thing, bro. He's trying to microchip us all, bro.
What?
This is it.
But he's a billionaire, bro.
Welcome to the podcast.
The vaccines, bro. I'm telling you, the vaccines are gonna have the microchip, and that's it, bro. I've been talking about this for years.
Sheesh.
Here we go.
I hope they find the vaccine.
Seriously though, look up ID 2020. ID 2020. It's actually called the ID 2020 Alliance. And it's supposed to be Microsoft has partnered up with a company called Gavi, which is a vaccine company. The question is, why is a computer programming company partnering with a vaccine company? There's a few other companies involved with it as well. But the question becomes like, what are they trying to do? If you go to the website, it literally says, and this is not like a conspiracy website. This is the actual website for this company. They're wanting everyone to have a digital identity, everyone on the globe. It literally says that if you go to the website right now.
Wait, say that again?
Yes. They want everyone on the globe to have a digital identity.
Interesting.
Oh my gosh.
Hey man, all I'm saying is
coming back. I got him coming back, so I'm gonna pass.
I'm gonna tell you. Here's what I'm saying, right? The Bible says that in the end, like there's gonna be a savior figure. Who else can save us from this virus but Bill Gates? He's gonna come up with a vaccine. And this vaccine, they're partnering with Microsoft, and they're gonna partner with. Let's say the economy crashes, right? There has to be a currency. Why not just infuse all three together? The vaccine, the currency, the digital identity. That way, if you get vaccinated for the virus, everyone can know. You can't go to this place without having a vaccine for coronavirus. You can't go to school without having a vaccine for coronavirus. By the way,
that's realistic. It's
all realistic, bro. Like it's not a conspiracy. Just watch out for it. That's all I'm saying. Just watch out. Look it up. I'm gonna send you the website. ID 2020 Alliance. It's a real thing, bro.
Oh my gosh.
It's the mark of the beast, bro. It's here.
So question. In the summertime, everyone keeps saying the corona can't last under temperatures of like 80 or higher.
They don't know if that's true or not.
They don't know if that's true.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask. Craig, okay, that's what I was going to ask. So in the summertime, okay, say it can't last under heat. Cool. However, when we return to the fall and the winter, what's going to happen?
We talked about it earlier, there might be a second wave.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a second wave, but should they have a vaccine by then?
They're not going to have a vaccine. They can't have a vaccine for a year and a half.
Wait a minute.
Like it will take 18 months for them to have a vaccine.
Bro, you think about it, like we already live a life where there's a flu season.
Yeah.
If we have a flu season and a corona season, like what the crap, man?
Yo.
So,
you know what's interesting about this whole virus is that people think that they're kind of like doctoring the numbers. I saw a chart today that said that since the coronavirus has been out, there's been less heart attack deaths and less flu-related deaths. And they basically, in certain places, that they're saying that if you have the virus, let's say you die from a heart attack, but you've already had like heart disease or whatever, then they're just going to call it COVID-19 death.
Jeez. I was hearing something like that on the news earlier today where basically that certain deaths have been ruled as coronavirus deaths that aren't actually coronavirus deaths.
Yeah.
That's like that's man. Yeah.
I could see that happening because at the same time, I mean, these hospitals are being overrun. They don't. I think a lot of these cases they don't really know. Like you could have symptoms of coronavirus and die, and they'll just say, you know what,
pneumonia,
it's likely coronavirus, so we'll just call it that.
Hey, have y'all seen the thing where they're saying like 5G radiation is what's killing people?
Bro, it's not the. Here's the thing, it's not the 5G. I'm gonna tell you what the 5G is about. The 5G is the network that's gonna allow these microchips to be active.
Alright. 5G LTE. That's fair.
I don't think the 5G is the coronavirus, but I do think the 5G is here because they need a network to be able to host these digital identities. Like that's what, in my opinion, that's what it is.
Bruh. Yeah, now a lot of people have been having conspiracy theories about like, oh, the 5G towers are getting put up, so that's probably a reason why there's been a huge hysteria around this, which I don't know about that clearly. Like, but this is a whole situation that we just in general don't know about. Like,
yeah, and I mean, certain parts, like they'll say, you know, one of the first areas that they put 5G in was Wuhan in China, where the virus started.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like radiation poisoning is not. It doesn't transfer like that.
No, it's not. You can't transmit a virus through radiation. Like that's not how that works at all. Like you said.
And so it's like they're saying that it's 5G, but in all the 5G is not in all these countries that have coronavirus.
Yeah.
So it just wouldn't. That logically just wouldn't make sense.
Now, I mean, I think there is a slight chance, very slight chance, and this is slightly conspiracy, but that this whole coronavirus is distracting us from something else.
Oh no, I 100% believe that. Like there's stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. I can actually, I mean, a lot of it's very like, I'd say biblical in nature. Like around the time that this started, there was like this crazy plague of locusts that was going through northern Africa.
Africa, and they didn't talk about that at all, bro. Like
not at all.
I heard about it once, and they didn't say nothing else about it, bro.
There's been tensions between us and China, us and Iraq, maybe Iraq or Iran. Like I think Iran was like setting off missiles like last week. Like there's stuff going on.
Oh snap! I mean, granted, that's true though. Like that, but that goes back to the revisionist like nature of how stuff like is in general, but how it's become more so because of a constant rotating news cycle of stuff. But I remember us like getting on an episode and literally talking about like the World War III jokes and all that stuff with Iran and what happened pretty much off that, and like that's kind of been a back burner now for the last.
Dude, coronavirus showed up and that stuff was gone.
Yeah.
I remember a point in time like we were talking about the coronavirus, but no one else was.
Yeah.
And now like that's when you look at the news, that's all you see.
Everything.
Is coronavirus is COVID-19, blah 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 blah. Like that's all you see.
Bro, back when we were recording in Josh's spot, I feel like we may have at least mentioned it.
Yeah, no, it got mentioned. I think in December. Like Joe mentioned it in like December.
Yes.
That's exactly what we were just talking about. Not to like he's been on. That's why like it's also been kind of a frustrating thing, and that's what I was telling Joe too. Is that it's been a frustrating thing with how this has all been handled, just from the standpoint of like if if Joe knew about this, and he stays on this stuff, but like, if Joe knew about it in December and was keeping up with all this, there's no way this government didn't know about this earlier hand. Like,
Yeah.
to know and to try and combat like as much as possible off of this. Like, that's
But
kind of been the
my
most.
thing is that I don't know, and I'm just going back to our conversation about China. Like, I don't know if the government knew how serious it was. They might have known, but I don't know if they knew how serious it was because China was trying to cover it up. I think that's definitely a possibility, at least.
I think they knew though. It's like, I understand there's certain things China always tries to cover up their numbers on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
There's no way you don't know this is a bad deal.
Like, I don't know, man. Like, China will kill its own people. They will kill and disappear their own people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this whole thing, I think it definitely could have been stopped at multiple points in time. Like, if China had stopped it early, then it wouldn't be at this point. If the U.S. had reacted a little bit earlier, it wouldn't be at this point. Like, there's different points in time where it could have stopped, and it wasn't taken care of when it should have been.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, that's now it's gotten to a point where everybody's now having. I mean, like, either way, people were gonna have to shelter at home. People were gonna have to like social distance. People are gonna have to quarantine themselves, and a lot of like there was a lot of this that was gonna have to take place anyway. But I just think we would have been way more prepared for it, and we wouldn't have been ending up with as many cases. I was hearing like before we basically started all of this, like I was hearing even whatchamacallit, that it's starting to level out a little bit more in New York State, at least in the city a little bit more. So I mean that's encouraging because that's the biggest like epicenter of it here in the U.S. Where that's happening.
True.
But at the same time, it's also a thing where it's like this stuff a lot of this could have been handled pretty much from the standpoint. So that's a frustrating thing. I don't know.
I'm very surprised, and this might just be the media, but I'm very surprised that we're not hearing about Washington or L.A. or any of these places, San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like, we Washington obviously was the first state that had a confirmed case, and you don't hear anything about them anymore. But you don't hear about San Francisco where it was really bad out there at a point.
Well, that's because they immediately did the lockdown though. Like, they didn't wait.
I mean, but it still should have spread. I think because you think about New York, obviously that's one of the areas that's gonna get the most traffic.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think L.A. and San Francisco those are those types of places too.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't. I guess like the media, you don't hear about them on the media. Like when you go and look at like CNN or NBC, like coronavirus, they're always going straight to New York.
Yeah.
Every single time, straight to New York. I don't know how any of these other states are dealing with it. I don't know if it's just kind of like died out in some of these other places. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I think they want to focus on wherever they can get the most fear out of people, which is focusing on New York.
Yeah.
Because it's the worst situation. Like, they don't want to talk about how San Francisco might be like, oh, they pretty much haven't leveled out now.
Yeah.
No one apparently wants to hear
and all these other places could very well be doing okay.
Yeah.
But you don't know. Like New York is kind of the same. I mean, they know that they can get fear out of New York because of 9/11.
Exactly. Exactly.
9/11, like that. New Yorkers that weren't the same after that.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like they're focusing on bringing that fear right back. I don't know if the media does it just so they can get more views, just so they can get more, attention, whatever. But that's definitely an issue, man. Like the media is, you'll focus on what they want you to focus on, which is going back to what John said, like what's happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Well, there's something that we're not seeing that we should probably be paying attention to.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, like, with New York, apparently they're getting hit the hardest by it right now. So it's like, it makes sense that it's become that place where a lot of people are keeping on to, like, what's happening is because New York City especially is getting hit with it. Like, I don't know if it's happening as much upstate or anything, but New York City has been, like, the biggest part of it all, where they're getting hit with it. Yeah, y'all brought up Seattle. I'm kind of surprised that it's not being talked about more in Seattle too, because you would think that it would be happening a little bit more over that area. Like it's always raining.
It started there.
Yeah, like that too. So it's like, but I do think that weather is also kind of a contributor to that as well, like in some ways, and it lasting longer. And so I don't think that's helping the case, but I would think that like if it's exactly like what John was saying a second ago, where it's starting to basically level out a little bit more, and not too much is basically happening there, then that's ultimately that's a good thing. Like
sure.
if it's basically happening that way, if the same thing's happening in San Francisco, if the same thing's happening in L.A., if we see even the same stuff happen here in the DFW as well, like in areas where I guess they're getting hit a little bit harder, and if we start seeing it even happen a little bit with New York, I know Joe and I we were talking about we were talking about pretty much like how Philly may end up getting it at some point too.
Yeah.
Like I heard that at a point. And so it could pick up on different places, I guess, over time until this stuff starts to kind of like basically kind of bottom out a little bit. Like I don't want to say bottom out, but like just lower on levels of like cases, and
I
especially
just know it's. I mean, down here living in Texas, we hear about. I think majority we hear about Louisiana.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's bad out there. Like it's really bad out there. Like a lot of people I don't think we people really know, but it's bad.
And the craziest thing is, we were planning to go there
to go to New Orleans
for my birthday, and they was like, this is not happening.
Honestly, like that's I think so we went down to Austin. I think the weekend before my birthday.
Oh, word!
I think it was like March 13th through the 15th. It was just me, Blair, Andre, and Samantha. So we just went down there just for a weekend.
That was the last weekend before they started shutting down stuff.
That was when we came back. That week they shut everything down.
Sheesh.
That week they shut everything down. Like, and I was like, John had his trip planned for New Orleans, and I was like,
it was like that next week.
Yeah, I was like, John's not gonna be able to go to New Orleans, and then like he had a dinner planned.
Yep.
Here in Dallas.
Then that's when they
did like right before that they shut down all the restaurants. I was like, dang man, like
bro, I couldn't get any break. It's all right.
My sister-in-law turned 30. She turned 30 today, but she had this big extravagant party planned, and like nothing. She can't do anything.
Dang man. Well, happy birthday to her at least. Hopefully she's at least enjoying it. I mean, like, no, seriously, like, hopefully she's at least enjoying it as much as possible. Like, as I say, like, a lot of people are being affected by this right now. Like, so.
Bro, I'm thinking about skipping my 28 and just being 27 until next year. Like, this year shouldn't count.
Literally everyone's birthday. Like, we're not gonna be able to do anything. Especially if this continues. Like, you notice every single month they extended a month.
Yes. Yeah. Every single month. Bro, I need things to be cleared up by October. My wife is supposed to have a baby. So I need that to be. I need something. I need something set to where she can go and at least have her baby, and we can come home and not go anywhere else for the rest of our lives. I don't know.
I think it's like there's really no telling. No one really knows how long this is gonna last. So it's like now they're saying April 30th. Come April 30th, they're gonna say, let's just push it to May 20th. And then they're going to say, you know what, let's just push it to June 20th. This is going to keep going on and on and on until they find some type of cure, if it just levels off to the point where it's not an issue anymore.
Bro, what I love is all the people out here working illegally. That's what I love. All the people who are like, oh, I can work at a barbershop, I can work at a beauty salon, I'm going to come to your house.
But you know what's crazy about that? I read a story yesterday about this barber who was doing house calls, and this dude just died.
What?
Yeah.
Dang, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my brother's barber's doing house calls.
That's dangerous.
And he charging more. He got some
nerve. Okay.
That's wild.
Let's just say this barber has it, right? This dude's trimming up your face, touching, like he's breathing on you. Like, he goes to my house, he goes to cut Chajogi's hair, he goes to John's place, and then he goes to Josh's place. Now we all got it. Damn, that's dangerous.
Michael Jackson.
I understand you gotta get money. Like I get it, but at the same time, it's like you at what cost?
Yeah, that's true, bro. That's so true. My barber, he not cutting hair, but this one dude on like one of his clients was telling him that, yeah, bro, I understand, like, you can't cut my hair, but you still got to get money, so send me your cash app, I'm going to send you some money. So he put it on Facebook, asked for us to follow suit. I was like, well, nigga, if you ain't cutting my hair, say, look, nigga, like, we cool, but,
I can't do that, but I support you.
I'm about to say, we cool, brother.
I can look at charity and be like, nah.
Let me tell you something, like, I'm gonna need something for that service, sir. He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, hey man, I'll send you like $1, something like that. And I'm like, $20, and you didn't do nothing to my head. Like, we cool, my nigga. Like, he been my barber for like what, 6 years? Like, he been one.
I just thank God that I live with the barber.
Oh, you should thank God for that.
I tried to cut my hair the other day when Blair was at work.
How'd that go?
It didn't go well.
Dang.
See,
she came home and fixed me up though.
Oh.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, Jasmine's been the one twisting my hair this whole time, so I at least got that. I ain't even shaved, bro. Like, I'm just being lazy.
I was gonna say, like, if you guys see me, like, I'm patched out right now. Like, I'm just letting it rock. I'm letting it rock.
Home left,
yeah.
And I'm using this as an excuse. I don't even care, bro. Like, I have reasons to not get a haircut. They are honestly right now with me. This haircut is not essential, nigga. I was like, good look.
Patch Adams in this thing, man.
Yeah, no shade, November for sure. Like, bruh, let me tell you something.
Yeah, I'm cooling, bro. Like, I'm letting this whole thing rock, and if I feel like shaving, I'll shave. That's about it.
Yeah, save that money though.
You gonna put that $20 in the jar until this is all over.
I guess though, but yeah, everybody just stay safe out there, man. Like, for real, like this. Yeah, clearly there's a bunch that's going on. We don't know exactly what all is gonna happen, pretty much from here, but just do what we can, I guess. In the meantime, that's it. Like, yeah. Dang, man.
Stay safe, man. Wash your hands. 20 seconds.
Nasty bastard. Wash your damn hands.
And wear a mask. Hey, so speaking of real quick,
okay.
I know it's getting late, but
no, you're good.
Mask on.
About these masks, you know how they, like, when this first came out, they were telling people to not wear masks. How like wearing a mask would be more dangerous. Than wearing one. And
I'm only laughing because the last time
saying everyone to wear a mask.
Yeah. I'm only laughing because the last time we recorded it, like, you were like, you put a mask in everything pretty much with this whole thing, so gosh.
People, they were like, don't wear a mask, you don't need a mask. I'm like, what? Like, literally, that's one of the dumbest things that I've ever heard. Because if you look at it, like, if you go to China, like, I've never been to China, but I've seen videos of people walking around, and there's a flu season, everyone has a mask on.
Well,
there's something like this going on, everyone has a mask on.
That's what everybody always gives people a hard time about, is like, oh, like, whenever they see people with, like, mask on or whatever, oh, SARS or something like that. And I'm like, now we're living through that. Like, that's exactly what's going on. I'll say this. I wore a mask for the first time the other day going to go shop. It felt so weird. It felt weird. It felt weird, bro.
The first time, but, like, now, like, me and Blair went to the store yesterday, and nearly everyone had masks on.
Damn right, mask on.
But the thing about it is, so I think that the reason that they said that was because they weren't prepared.
Yeah,
so
they didn't have enough.
Telling people, like, I remember them coming out and saying that civilians don't need masks; they won't protect you, so you need to give them to the doctors and nurses. So it's going to protect them, but not us. Like, how does that make? Like, the Surgeon General came out and said that, looking stupid. And so now, like, a month later, they're like, oh, no, everyone actually needs to wear a mask. They're saying the reason that they said that was because they weren't prepared. And I think if they had just come out and said from the beginning, hey, y'all, it's our fault, we weren't prepared, we don't have enough masks for y'all, and
people have such a hard time saying that.
It would be better if they would just be up front and say, you know what, it would be more beneficial for y'all to give them to the nurses and doctors, because they're gonna need them. We need them there to help people out who are getting sick.
Right.
Yeah.
I think people would have been like, okay, they would have been more understanding. When you say one thing and then a month later you say something different, now it's just making you look stupid and we don't know who to trust.
Yeah. Oh, like when Trump said, "Oh, it's not a big deal. Oh, it's an epidemic."
Yeah.
Mask on. That's crazy, dude.
This dude Future really started a foundation called Mask On, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the masks are efficient. I just think the gloves. People have to be very mindful when you use gloves because if you touch all over stuff in the store and all that stuff, you end up touching on your phone and stuff.
Yeah.
You're literally just
you
might as well just like you just got to be very vigilant in washing your hands. But at least when it comes to like the mask, for sure. Like I know people are talking about shaving off their facial hair and stuff like that or whatever, but it's like you just got to be.
I said I was gonna do that, and Blair told me I couldn't.
Blair ain't going.
Nah, nigga, wear a full mask, goddamn.
I was like,
just don't touch your face.
I was like, the CDC is recommending, men to shave their facial hair, and she was like, yeah, I don't care.
Gosh, dang it.
That's funny. Hey, yo, Chidge.
Yo.
Do you think we actually gonna get to this bracket, or we just?
Okay, so if we want to do you guys want to do the bracket today?
Bro, I'm finna go to sleep. I'm not doing no bracket.
Because we can get together. We can get together and we can do the bracket. Like even if y'all are able to do it tomorrow or something like that, we can do that tomorrow. Like we can make it happen. Like I have everything broken down for it.
Yeah, let's do that and post it, and then I'll post it and share wherever I need to.
Yeah, I'll share it on the IG and then I'll share it on my stuff too. So
okay.
Bet.
Let's make sure. Yeah, I'll put it in our group message.
All right. Okay. That's a bet. Like, yeah, because we can get this started going. I mean, I can give out a little bit of info if y'all want me to, or we could just keep it like silent. This whole like.
Silent.
All right. Okay. All right. Bet.
Because honestly, this is the best time because everyone's at home, so this is literally the best time.
Exactly.
Hey, make sure y'all send me the bracket though, so I can add the logo.
Okay.
On there, I just want to make sure it has our official stuff on there. So if anybody reposts it, they got to see us.
That's right. That is so true.
So
what did Jerome say?
Silent. Copyright on there first.
Okay, bet. I'll be able to find like a formatting pretty much for it. It's kind of interesting in how it's doing it though. So I'm gonna try and figure out a way to see if I can finagle it a little bit, like with the seating
you
and.
gotta just all the other the ones that had to play in because they're questionable, they're on the borderline. You just gotta throw them off.
What? But that's what makes the beginning of the bracket so good. That's what I'm saying, because it's like immediately like.
Show us what you got. Then show us what you got first.
Just send it to us and we can make edits or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Bet. That's it. Okay, that's a bet. All right, I'll send that off pretty much.
Where are you at, man?
I told you I'm at my house.
Yeah, darkness is not your house.
What?
Darkness is not your house.
No, I'm not. I'm still in my car.
So you didn't go to Whataburger?
No, I didn't. I kind of got sidetracked. I was debating about
the car. You haven't done anything. You sat in your car this whole time.
You're so right. I get that. But that's why I'm gonna go inside now and go to bed. That's what I said. The bracket can win. I love y'all a lot, but I'm going to bed.
Hold on a second, guys.
Okay. Yeah, but either okay. So we'll do the bracket tomorrow, and then we'll just basically start posting.
We'll work out the kinks in between now and then. We'll work out the kinks.
Okay. All right. Yes. That's a bet. That's it.
But just send us what you got, and we'll look over it. How you want to do the plans? I don't know. Just send it, and we'll look at it. and We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a bet. Okay. Well, bet. I guess I'll sign off on this one pretty much though. We'll be back with this bracket later. We'll just hit y'all with a little bit of this for now. Y'all got this, and we'll be able to post everything. Y'all already know what it is. It's the forecast, and we gone.
Forecast?
Yeah.
Yeah.